Hi guys, and welcome to another Divi WordPress theme tutorial. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Well, we're going to continue on. This is going to be our last in this little series using the Divi Carousel plugin, and we're going to build this sort of rotating image carousel with a little lightbox effect. It's pretty eye-catching, nice little thing to have on your site for showcasing whatever you want to showcase. So let's get started. Let's go ahead and create a new page. As I said, I'm using the Divi theme here, and it keeps getting better and better. And I want to use the Divi builder, which will allow us to build on the front end. I want to build from scratch. Of course, Divi comes with all kind of layouts as default. Like I say, Divi's so easy to use, keeps getting better and better with so many features. If you're building any sort of WordPress site at all, I do suggest you check it out. And if you want to take it for a test drive, you can do so from my affiliate link below this video. But I'm going to build from scratch today. Like I say, they've got pretty much layouts for just about any category you want. So let's just close that. I'm going to build from scratch today. So we've got a section here, the blue tag. By default, it's going to put that in. The green one's for a row, so I'm going to add a row. Inside that row, I'm going to put a single column. When you put your column in, or your row in, it's going to ask you to put a module in there. By default, Divi comes with all these light grey ones with the blue icon there. The one we're using today is a third-party one called Divi Carousel with the purple icon there. Another one by the same company is Product Carousel. We'll be covering those at a later date. And Divi Supreme as well. And then of course you've got all these other default Divi modules here you can use. They've just added 16 new ones for WooCommerce, which is absolutely awesome. So today I want to use the Divi Carousel. And there it is. And of course the first thing I want to do is add an item. Now today I'm just going to be doing images, so we're not going to have titles, subtitles and text. So I'm going to leave the title, the subtitle and the text absolutely blank. All I'm going to do is go down to the image settings and add an image. Okay, let's start with that one. There it is. You can see we've got our image here. Okay, what else do I want to do to it? Well, I want to sort of give it a bit of a box shadow. And I want it to, when I click on it, to open to what they call a lightbox. A lightbox is when an image pops out large on the screen. So I don't want to use an icon. There's a little box underneath that just says open in lightbox. There we go. Okay, what else do I want to do? I want to give it a bit of drop shadow. Then I want to give our section behind an image and a color that we can blend. So let's give this some box shadow. And once we're happy with what we've got going on here, let's put that back. Let's go to Design tab. And we'll go down to box shadow. Let's try this one. And as we've discovered before, we can put a shadow in, but it gets cut off at the bottom because of our carousel wrapper here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the check mark to save the item. Takes us back to our main Divi Carousel settings. I want to go to the Design tab on that. We want to go down to Custom Spacing. And on the bottom, really where my shadow wants to be seen, in the inner wrapper padding, just on the bottom, I'm going to give it, say, 30 pixels. Just type in 30, it'll put in the PX for you. And as you can see, that shadow's now appeared there. We've basically given it room for the shadow on the bottom there. Okay, that's great. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put in my section background to see whether I want to tweak this shadow to make it more visible or not. So let's save carousel settings. Let's go up to our section tab here, hit the cog, Let's go to background. Alright, first thing I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and add a background color. Use the default blue. I'm also going to add a background image. And let's use that one. I think that's the one we used before, but it really doesn't matter. As you can see, it's put that in the background, but you may be asking, well, why did you put a color in? Because you can't see it. Well, that's what we're going to do. We're going to blend it now. I put that blue in. If we look at the color tab, you've got color, gradient, image, and video. Put this blue in. Let's go down here, just under the image. We're on the image. Background, image, blend. Now they got some wonderful things going on here. I'm actually going to put it to multiply, which will multiply the background color and the image. There we go. That works pretty well for me. As you can see, I might want to make that shadow just a little bit more visible there. But this background image blend, do play with it. You can get some wonderful effects. By using this, and also if you decide you've got too much of the color in the background, if we go back to my multiply, if you decide you've got too much color in the background, you can go back to the color and take the opacity down and make it do various different things. Just click on the color, right hand slider will pull down the opacity or see-throughness, if you will, of the color. Well, I like it just like that. That's fine. Alright, all we need to do is go in there and think I want to make this shadow just a bit stronger, and then we'll make the rest of our little carousel items. So let's go back into that item. We want to go to design and box shadow and just tweak that shadow a little bit. Tweak that there, and box vertical position, I want that to go down a bit. So it's fairly deep. Can you see that's fairly deep right there? Fantastic, just what I want. And I might want to take the strength up just a tad. I don't know. There we go. Right, well, I'm going to leave it at that. I don't want to play with it too much. That's going to work for me. I'm going to save that and save the Divi settings itself. Now, when this happens, I want it to be full screen. If you just want it to be where it is, that's absolutely fine. But I want mine to be full width, the whole width of the screen. So with Divi, let's just go into our row and make this full width to design, sizing. Width, take that up to 100%. And max width, just type in 100%. And as you can see, that shot that over to the left hand side so we can populate the rest of the row there. I'm going to give it a bit of padding on the left hand side just to bring it in a bit. We've done that with our other modules as well. So let's go down to spacing. Left, I'm going to give it 100 pixels. And right, same thing. So I just hit the little chain icon there, it'll fill the opposite one for you. Great. Right, well, let's go ahead and populate with a few more of these. So back to our carousel module. Remember, the blue one's for the section, the green one's for the row, the dark one's for the module. Hit the cog. Clone this, because it's got all our shadow settings and everything we want there. And all I want to do is go in and change the image. I'll do this one. Then I'll pause the video and we'll move on and I'll do the rest. I actually want, at the moment that's going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 across. I actually want to have more than that. I want to say 6 or even 8 across. So let's save this. And in our slider, let's go to the slider settings. And first thing you've got here is show how many icons on desktop. Well, mine's set to 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's change that to 6. And on a tablet, let's have it displaying 4. And on a mobile phone, we'll just have the 1. So it'll be one, then the next one, then the next one, etc., etc. So let's save that. Great. And I'm going to pause now, and I'm just going to add a bunch more images across. Okay, so I've added a bunch more now. So we've got a regular sort of carousel with them going across here. I've elected to have 6. Let's set up our slider and see what we actually want it to do. So if we go down a little bit, we're still in the main carousel settings, not on a carousel item. Let's go into slider settings and set up our slider. Okay, we've already told it we want 6, 4 and 1 for desktop, tablet and mobile. Multi-slide is, as I mentioned before, if you want the whole of the screen to slide to the next available lot, you can do that. I don't. I want them to do it individually. Duration is the time it takes. I'm going to ramp that up to about 2000 milliseconds, which is 2 seconds. Center slide, that's going to make sure there's a slide always in the middle. I'm going to put that on. I'm going to put loop on because I want it to keep looping around continually, not to stop when it gets to the end. I want it to autoplay, I want it to start automatically. I also want it to pause on hover, so anybody can select an image and hit the light box. I don't need a scroller effect on there. I don't need any autoplay delay. I want it to pretty much start as soon as it's ready. Arrow navigation, let's add some arrow navigation. As you can see, it's popped it on the end there. Dot navigation, that's where you've got your little dots underneath. I don't think I want that today. I'll put it on just to show you. There we go. There's those little dots. You can select them for each one. But like I said, I don't think I want that today with this. Item spacing, well, I'm not going to change that right now. For the moment, that's fine. We might want to tweak that in a little bit. Equal height, I don't need that. Had my images been of different heights, or the content been of different heights on each one, I could have checked that so they would have been the same height. So that's fairly good. I'm happy with that. Let's move down to our advanced slider settings, and this is where it gets a little more interesting. And although it says advanced, there's not many of them, so it's not very confusing. Default slider effect, which is this. Yeah. I want to change it to what they call cover flow, which makes it kind of 3D. There we go. You see that sort of twisted, skewed some of these images? Not only does it skew it, it puts a bit of an inner shadow on the inner edges, or what could be considered the inner edges there. Gives it that more 3D look. And you can rotate, use your little rotate slider here to just tweak it. Get it how you actually want it to rotate. So we could have it kind of like a carousel, so it's going around in a circle by giving it a negative value. And if your slider stops and it stops at 0, you can hit the little down arrow to start giving it some negative. So it's kind of like it would be as if it was on the outside of a carousel, if you will, like a fairground carousel or a wheel. I think something like that will work. So I think we're good there. I don't think I want to mess with the spacing at all. What I'm going to do is put these arrows on the outside and get rid of that white background because that's a little too much for me. So let's go to design, next and previous buttons. Whoops. And I want it outside the container. At the moment it's inside. If I flip it to outside, there we go, that's where I want them. And you can have them top or bottom if you prefer. I really want them only to show on hover. That'll only work for if you've got a slide on middle position, which we have here, which is fine. But I'm not going to put that on right now because I want to take the background away and change the color of those arrows. So if we go down to color settings, here's our arrows. I'm going to make that white. That will disappear into the white background there. And the actual background, well, we could give it a blue and bring the opacity down, I suppose, but I probably don't really want a color behind there. I mean, that's pretty subtle, but I think I'd rather just have the arrow. Oops, I did the wrong one. Let's make that white again, and let's make this one transparent. Yeah, I think I prefer that. So let's save this and see what we've got. Save that, save the page changes, little purple button, save draft. If you've already got it published, it'll just say saved. Once saved, let's exit the Visual Builder, and our carousel should start rolling. There we go. And it really is sort of rolling around a bit like a carousel that you'd see sort of fairground horses on. And I like that. Like I say, it's kind of eye-catching. Now if we put our arrow over it, it should pause. And if I click on it, okay, thought we had a lightbox effect. That's obviously not working. Take it off, it starts again. Let's just check that. Let's go back. And I'm just going to go into this one right here. So we'll open our carousel module, and it's the first one right here. I have to remember that's the first one. You can name these individually. I'll show you how. I didn't actually bother, but if you go on the first content tab, right down to the bottom, admin label, you can call it what you want. And it's actually a good idea to do that. If I save this, it does, when you're building a site, make it easier to find things. As you can see, that one's called slide 1 for expediency. I just didn't bother. Alright, so let's go back in there and see why that image is not working as a lightbox. It's because it's not checked. Open in lightbox under the image. Save that. And now check out our lightbox effect. Save the page changes. And exit the Visual Builder. Okay, so our carousel's revolving, and if we just click on that image, we check the lightbox button on. There it is, opening in a lightbox. So there is how to build a nice 3D image carousel using the Divi Carousel plugin. Really useful and really eye-catching. Well, I hope you've enjoyed that and found it useful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, share, comment and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Your comments really do help me to decide what videos to make more of, so please keep them coming. If you're interested in web development, take a look down below. We got some great free courses down there, as well as some premium courses with some huge discounts for our YouTube subscribers, so do check it out. Once again, this has been Jamie with System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.